Hey, how you guys doing?
What's going on, Don?
Yeah, how cool is that video?
I
Dave,
love it.
Dave, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There he is.
I
Hi guys.
What's up, Dave? How you doing?
Yeah, good. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I want to watch that trailer like 3, 4 times. Just you know, that's that workout like music you need to like get through that like hard section.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. Big fan of the Kong, He's such a great character.
For sure. Hey, so thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. You got a really exciting project. First, can you tell us a little bit more about like yourself and about the team?
Yeah, for sure. So again, thanks for having this. Yeah, representing Myria Games today. Really excited to show you a little bit about what we're doing. So my name's Dave. I'm the CMO at Myria. And really excited to start bringing what we've been working on in stealth behind the scenes to your audience. So there's about 100 of us so far behind the scenes. Lots of industry veterans from the gaming industry. People super passionate about building AAA games. Obviously, a lot of crypto and blockchain enthusiasts and a lot of depth in the tech side as well. Me personally, I used to be the head of marketing and PR at Rockstar back in the day. So an old, you can tell I'm showing my age, old school gamer, but really excited about what we're going to do in changing the face of blockchain gaming.
Yeah, how old school? What are some of your favorite games? Like, what are some of the like first games you ever got into when you were just a wee lad?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was a wee lad, it was sort of Game Boy type stuff.
Yeah.
But my favorite games from the PS2, I've got to say Manhunt, which is it's a Rockstar classic. Real stealth, really scary game to play. So love that. And then in later years, I've sunk a lot of time into Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Love the open worlds, but I guess we're here to look at what the metaverse has to offer, right? And so
Yeah.
it's a whole new play.
Yeah, so I mean, Myria is an incredibly impressive project. You guys are building an entire metaverse and ecosystem and gaming and everything. So, like, yeah, just sort of walk us through what you guys are building.
Yeah, sure. So we're trying to build like a super expansive blockchain gaming ecosystem, an open metaverse, and this full proprietary sort of infrastructure, which will be built on Ethereum layer 2 and have a Myria chain. And so from a technology perspective, we'll also have a decentralized exchange, a wallet, and this is all launching very soon. From a gaming perspective, we have Myria Games, where we have 4 of our own proprietary AAA titles, and they're all free to play, right? So slightly different model, but with full supported token economics, obviously, which we can talk about in a bit more detail. But also we have another sort of third-party ecosystem. So if we look at the website in a bit, you can see that we're working on something with our third-party partners called Moonville. And the idea is that we're going to build out this ecosystem of free-to-play games where you play and earn. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that this sort of like the killer app for us is the interactive, siloed gaming experience. Open up the ability to build utility across these different games, and that's that's the ambition. It's a big one, and yeah, we're really excited to start delivering that.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it's such a big project that you guys have. Like specifically, like with like Mira Studios. Like when you're talking about those four games that are like essentially free to play. Is that are you talking there about like Metacard and Meta Rush, Block
Yeah,
Royale?
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we have four games slated, and they're kind of from like some traditional gaming genres that you'll be familiar with, but with the Myria twist, right? So we just want to make sure that blockchain gaming is really fun and really inclusive. And to do that, we're obviously looking at our own version. So like Meta Rush, for example, is like a really fun multiplayer battle racer. Yeah, I mean, check out some of the artwork on our website. It's a lot, it's going to be awesome.
Dave,
And then when it comes,
are you able to share your screen here and maybe
oh
show
yeah,
some of
sure.
those trailer pages? What I love is I love how the artwork is so
Mhm.
unique and different between the games.
Yeah.
It's like you say,
So,
it's your studio arm. It's not just one game that has different levels.
yeah, exactly. And like we've got some incredibly talented artists working with us to bring our own flavor to this, and I think people are going to really enjoy it. So here we're having a look at our obstacle battle racer. So this is Meta Rush. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Hot Dog Man.
Me
I
too.
think I think that's going to be a lot of fun to play. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It's an
this is.
obstacle racer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got crazy landscapes, wacky races, and yeah, I mean, you can read a bit more about the story here, but we say you got to fight for your right to party in here, and yeah, it's pretty unique. It's going to be a lot of fun. But then also, if you and when you're thinking about this, right, think about like your NFTs, your characters, your skins
Okay.
moving into other gaming environments. So then like imagine what we're doing here now in Metacart, right? So, kind of traditional kart racing within our own Myria universe, loads of different game modes. And we're going to be launching sort of alpha gameplay for Meta Rush very, very soon. So I'd
Okay.
really encourage people to like jump into our Discord and keep an eye out for that, because that's going to be the first sort of cab off the ranks, and then we'll be jumping into Metacart. And as you can see here, like some more fantastic art renders here. So
And so
again, you see this guy.
there's other collections, like it's a full cross IP platform.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
so
That's so
that's
cool.
that's the idea, and right, I think it's what we want to do differently is allow people to have this kind of interoperable utility. So
Yeah.
one, it's just fun, right? Um, and and will be super cool to see how that works. But also it adds a lot of utility and hopefully longevity to the games, right? If you can just jump into these different environments and play.
Well,
Mhm.
and it's cool just because you can go in there, like you were flipping through. It's almost like a Netflix. It's like, okay, I want to play this game. I can enter with this character. Block Royale. This looks
Mm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is this is your kind of battle royale. Like, I mean, yeah, I think this is going to be where I'm going to spend a lot of my time. Just like, hardcore action, multiplayer experience. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be great. And again, looking fantastic, really cool environments being built out. And like I said, we've got, the focus is on fun, but also we want to make these experiences, of a super high quality that people are engaged with and really want to play. And I think that's key. And that's, yeah, I'll just check this out. So some great art here as well.
Wow.
But that's the philosophy internally is like, fun first. And yeah.
What I always like to ask real quick, like earning potential. Is there like how is that going to be set up at all? Like, I mean, selling in-game assets or things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's a great point. So, we've
Yeah.
got a couple of things coming up fairly soon. So again, I would encourage people to if they can, just jump in our Discord and keep abreast of it. But we'll be doing a token launch. We're also
Mhm.
doing a node sale. So people can acquire nodes, get access to early NFTs, and remember that the Myria token will be able to be utilized across everything we do, and also our third party games. So there'll be the ability to get utility in the NFT marketplace, and yeah, obviously lots of cool in-game quests, assets, things to do. Again, yeah. So that's how that's going to work.
That's really
Cool. Yeah.
that's really in line with like expanding the community, which I like.
Yeah, so I think we're coming out of stealth, like we said. So this is actually the first AMA we've done where we've gone through it. So
Nice.
a bit of a sneak peek and hearing from us direct. But yeah, what we want to do is we want to get people to level up within Discord, and then they'll get to a level 30 Star Lord is what we're calling it. And then they get priority access, exclusive opportunities to use tokens. It'll be performance and ranked as well. So yeah, I think people are going to be really really excited. One, by the opportunity to invest in the project, also to play and earn, but also, again, like I said, just great gaming experiences to share.
Yeah. So any hard dates we're looking at that you want to share with the Path community, like to get excited about?
So I'm not going to give you any hard dates
No hard
because
dates. Okay.
I want to keep a few things up my sleeve.
There you
But
go.
what I will do is I'll promise to come back and share some gameplay and some tips and tricks and what have you. But like I said, things are moving real fast in the Myriaverse. Now we've come out of stealth. So I would say do expect some alpha gameplay from MetaRush within the next sort of 8 weeks.
Nice.
And also in terms of nodes, tokens. Oh, and I should also mention I can't mention any detail, but we're launching something called Sigil, which is where people can join our alliances, and that'll actually be coming first. So that'll happen in the next maybe 3 weeks, and this is where people can come in, join an alliance, level up. Lots of secrets behind the scenes, NFT drops, and all kinds of exclusive access as well. So keep an eye on us because that'll be coming first. And then more than happy to come back and talk in lots of detail about the games when I can give you that.
And you got the token sale.
Yeah, exactly. So the token sale's happening as well. The team are just figuring out right now about the best way to do that. As you can probably tell, like our philosophy is around like making things fun and inclusive. So we want to make sure that that's fair. So we're just figuring out the best way to bring that token sale to life. And so
I appreciate
lots of news.
I appreciate how you said that about the games. It's like play to have fun and then like potentially earn. It's not like just like play to earn.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think it's like play and earn, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got this kind of secret event coming up. I hope I haven't said too much, but in the next few weeks about the alliances, we'll just keep it amongst ourselves. But it'll be where we really reward people that are getting on board with the story. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff. Drops, all this sick art will be coming to life for people super soon.
Very cool.
Yeah, well, PathDAO is here to support you guys, and we'll be sharing a lot of that stuff like within our social channels. I've been super impressed by what I've seen so far. Like, love that trailer. We'll play the trailer again at the end of everything. But Dave, I just appreciate you coming in and giving us some of your time.
No, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'd encourage everyone just have a cruise through the website, join our Discord. Thank you for sharing with the community. We're so excited to get feedback. Just really, gel with these guys and see what people think. And yeah, I can't wait to show you more next time. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll share the socials in the about section of the video after, so you can go there. And obviously we're talking about it in our Discord as well. So thanks so much again for your time, and really excited about some of the projects that Myria Studios has coming out.
Thanks, guys. All right, take care. See you soon.
Great, thanks a lot. Okay, so I think next, I think we're gonna play. We have a really cool new website. Like, so the website's been changing, right? When you do a website that's massive of what we're doing with dashboards, the dashboard app, like everything else, like it takes time to propagate all that stuff. Like, Floppy, do you use Chrome or Safari, or what do you use?
Yeah, depends on what mainly Chrome, Safari on my iPhone probably, but yeah, I mean, a little bit of each.
Chrome seems to be what's crypto friendly and everything.
Yeah.
Like Safari doesn't really seem to work, that much. So anyway, we launched a new website. This is something again that like we kind of did like a soft launch, but now it's really rocking and rolling and looks like super good. So I think we're gonna play. Do we have a video now? We're gonna show. We got Jansen, CEO of Path, coming in to speak with us. But I think we're gonna play this video now of the website, if we can. I definitely get excited when I watch that.
Yeah. It looks good.
It's such a cool, like the first website was fresh, right? But like it's such a step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and it's good to showcase kind of everything that PathDAO's been working on, which is the entire suite of.
Well, when they announced like the pillars, like the ecosystem in January, like it's like normally you announce something in January, maybe you get an update in like June, July. All of a sudden, it's like we're literally in March, right? And we're rocking and rolling.
It's Web3, man. It moves fast.
It moves super fast. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I love what some people don't realize. We've changed the noticing a little bit. Any suggestions that you have from the community, like definitely drop it like in the Discord or in the comment section here. But we're trying to figure out, when you come into the website, there's a really cool that cool animation, and if you know, but it's a click through. So you can click on the different pillars. But like Floppy, I know like when you first saw it, you didn't realize that you could click on all that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty intuitive and user friendly once you like kind of poke around in a little bit.
Yeah. Do we have Jansen in the waiting room? Can we pull him in?
Yo.
Nice. Hey, Jansen.
Hey, there he is.
Morning, guys.
Hey, we love the video and the functionality of the new website.
Yeah, man. Actually, honestly, the reason why there was the shift to the new website was to really showcase the entire ecosystem we are building, right? And in a very intuitive way, I would say, right? Because I think it shows that it's not just about the guild that we're building. It's just not about the investment arm, right? It shows the entire cohesive ecosystem that we're bringing in, including like the social gaming platform, the financial services centers, the tournament platforms and stuff like that, right? So those are the bigger things that's already being in play, and we can even touch on some of the progress, right, on some of these key things, just to keep you folks updated.
Yeah, always improving. I like it.
Yeah, I love because I'm always going to the website. And it's like it's just changing constantly. They're tweaking this, they're tweaking that. The top animation, everyone's response when they see that is like, oh wow, it gets a really cool response for sure.
Yep. So actually, maybe then let me touch a bit, right, on some of the key developments on that front, right? So I think the website, it's just, I would say, you think about it, it's a facade, right? It's just tell us what is happening, but behind the scenes there have been a lot of progress. Two of the key ones that probably I would want to touch today, especially that will affect our gamer audience, right, and our gamer community. So I think the first one is that we are introducing um, a gamer identity profile and an EXP profile on our social gaming platform. So we are using Game Street, right? I think for some of you who are already aware of it, Game Street is a platform that we are incubating, and we are building up that platform to host as a place where our gamers can, number one, build their Path gamer identity there. Number two, it's a place for you to be incentivized to share content, right? Web3 gaming content, to share some of the cool stuff that you're exploring, and to even use that platform as a way to explore new games in the Web3 world. So that's the objective of this Game Street environment. And but step one is very simple, right? Like, because today I think a lot of you folks are playing in our weekly tournaments, participating in the new games that we're bringing into the systems. Like, I think Town Stars is the next one that's coming up. So like all of these different engagements within the Path ecosystem, we want to reward you, right? And we want to also reward people who are more active, who are very engaging in our community, right? And so what happens is that everything that you do within the Path ecosystem, you will start accumulating EXP points. Mm-hmm. And along the way, you'll start leveling up, right? Level 1, level 2, level 3. And then over time, if you maintain a certain points of your Path EXP, you would start getting a certain rank. You might get like a bronze rank, a silver rank, a gold rank, a diamond rank, right? And then with each of these ranks, you would start having access to very cool perks. So one example of a perk could be there's going to be free merch that's going to be delivered to your doorstep. There's going to be access to our whitelist spots, exactly, and even airdrops, right? Because I think if you see like in the week, a couple of weeks ago, we had like the LK Drago NFT airdrops, right? And some of these airdrops from our partners can actually be worth quite a sizable amount, right? And the idea is that this will be rewarded for people who are the most active and the most engaged within.
That's the thing is you guys got to keep an eye like on our social media, because like we're doing some airdrops. We get approached, like Jansen knows, like I found out recently we get approached by a lot of people for airdrops, right? Just like we do for projects. But we're not shilling, we're not throwing stuff out there. Like, we have some really good projects that come to us, and a lot of times these projects, it's funny, I see this, but a lot of times the projects aren't even telling us, oh, we got 10 spots. Like Jansen will say, hey, let's get our community involved here, and so it's cool to be able to provide those, to the group for sure.
Yeah, man. And honestly, it's this. I mean, for you folks who are new to the NFT world, right? Some of these whitelist spots, not just the airdrops, right? There's airdrops and then there's whitelist spots, right? Can be actually quite competitive. Like we had recently we had a drop.gg whitelist spots. It was quite expensive to mint. but the guys who minted, it was some of them had some good experience, right? Like we heard of a story of one guy who minted a gold land a couple of days ago, and then he got a diamond land, right? That was like a 5,000 USD
Yeah.
profit just from the NFT minting from one of our partners ecosystems, right?
Mhm.
I mean, and those are the cool stuff in the NFT world. But again, it's not financial advice. But the point is, there are a lot of stages, a lot of perks that we're starting to bring out. And in fact, like even in our loan ecosystem, you will start basing the credit scoring system as well, and your loan limit and your interest rate based on your tiering as well. So if you are like a higher tier in our ecosystem, it means you're more loyal, it means you're more active, it means there's a higher chance for you to actually repay back on time, right? So that's the reason why we can give you a higher credit limit and a better interest rate as well.
It's cool.
So
It's so cool that your game history actually can like lead directly to like you like getting a loan, like to be able to buy something.
that's one of the breakthroughs that we are trying to create in this era, right? I mean, you don't see that much. Actually, I don't think you even see that anywhere, right? The ability to do this uncollateralized loan, right? In Web3. And I think we can do it.
Floppy and I were both in the United States and trying to get loans when we were younger. You'd have to show all these different types of bills, but basically impossible. And then when you think about all the different regulations in all the different parts of the world, to be able again to have your gaming history, your gaming experience count towards like creating credit, like that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like this new currency, your like ability to earn in the metaverse, or you can cash that in as collateral. It's kind of cool. Yeah. It's an incredible concept. Yeah.
And you're delivering the best games, for like the players to play. So, that's where, like a lot of what's been cool, like Floppy and I have had like some of like the game managers, the guild managers in here. Obviously, Toby Tobes has been a frequent guest. Hopefully he's feeling better. He had COVID 2 weeks ago and he actually got pretty sick. But the game managers are a huge part of the community here, and it's cool. It's cool seeing the DAO, the investment arm, everyone work together and bring the best projects like in for the players.
Yeah, man, that's our role here as a team here, right?
So you talked about Game Street a little bit. Like anything else you kind of want to expand on that? Like any sort of more alpha you want to give out tonight to the community?
I think that's mainly that part, right? Where stay tuned to the launch of our sign up programs. It likely would be as early as next week, where you can start signing up, start earning this EXP, and it's going to be a massive competition every
fast
every month, right? Where the top EXP folks will actually win some quite sizable I would say prizes, right? So I think that's one of the cool things as well that we're going to have in a couple of weeks to come. So that's on the gamer front. But I also want to touch a bit on the loan front, right? So I think since we've launched our Path Finance 1.5 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, massive amount of applications that came in. So I think it's good to know that we've created a service that you folks need, right? But the thing to note, like I understand that some of you folks, got it, received the loan. Some of you folks did not, right? And I think for those that did not, I think the key reason is because of the lack of data points we have on you in our ecosystem, meaning that you are too new in our Discord or too new in our gaming ecosystem. But don't worry about that, right? Because I think just be active, right? Start joining our.
It's not a no. It's a not yet. It's not a not. Yeah, it's a not yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not yet,
No,
right?
that's like when you go in for a loan with a bank, like they want they ask you, hey, you got to come back with more. Hey, we want to see a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, game participation, right? Gameplay. That's the key, Jensen, is what you're saying.
Correct. Gameplay is key, but there's also activity, right? Because when you're active in the Discord, when you're active in our ecosystems, communicating with the community, helping the community, right? And even joining events the community is holding, these are all indicator points that we're building into our credit model, right? That's helping us to understand how good you guys are with credit, right? And that's what we are using. So meaning that it's and in fact actually we are quite I wouldn't say we are that strict, right? Like we have a hygiene level of due diligence that we do. But from an application standpoint, I think based on the numbers that we have, like around 60% were approved, right, for the loans. Not everyone will approve to the maximum limit, right? There's also a starter limit that we've been giving out. So that's actually pretty high, right? I would say
that's real high, I think.
to the banks that I've worked with in my previous career. So that's it. I think just continue for you folks who are looking for a bit of a cash injection or cash help here and there. Feel free to continue to apply. And we have the instructions in our Discord channel. It's under the Path Finance channel, where you can either contact us via the finance support channel, or you can contact us via email at pathDAO.io. Right?
Jump in the Discord. People will really help you within the community and answer your questions.
Yeah. So, but just a note, right? This is step one, right? What the team is building out, we've realized while building this, there's a massive innovation space within the uncollateralized loan environment in Web3. And we are currently designing ways of actually to scale this out at a very fast rate using the blockchain system, right, as a way to help with credit repayment and help with people who are potentially new in our ecosystem, but being able to get them in early because you might know someone who already has a loan in our ecosystem, right? So we're trying to figure out a way where we can use a social construct, meaning like a friend refer, but a friend vouching for a friend's credit worthiness, right, to actually help more and more people to get access to these financial services. So it's still quite raw. It's still very raw, and there are like only one or two research papers out, like on how the actual blockchain tech could be utilized, leveraging a social construct to help with this creditworthiness problem or like potential challenge, right, that we might face in scaling. So there's something that we update you guys along the way. It's a very interesting innovation space to push on that the team is actually working on.
Yeah. So Jansen, we've got two big PathDAO improvement proposals up for discussion now. Can you talk about those?
The big subject for tonight.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, okay, on that point, right, I think that's something that I think the whole community is aligned, the backers and the advisors are also aligned, right? Where we realized that, okay, we're at a stage where it just doesn't make sense because there's a disconnect between the fundamentals of the fund performance versus the price of the token. Now, I mean, for those who need a bit of clarity on that, right? When we say fund performance, is that if you look at our Path Treasury dashboard, right, app.pathDAO.io, you realize that the team has been realizing quite significant profit every month. In February, we realized like $580,000 in the month of February.
Wow.
This month alone, I think in the past, like we have one of our key step-in operations, right, I think we realized 100,000 last week, but I think our unrealized gains from step-in is actually much, much higher. Right. So like the idea is that, and this doesn't account for all the yield farming protocols that we're doing, right? Our anchor protocol yields about like 80,000 alone, right? So that's all the different, I would say, profit generations that the DAO is creating. And once the investments that we enter hits their launch stage, like we saw with Space in Suites, like a couple of days ago, it was at their peak, it was a 6x play, right?
Yeah.
Now it's stabilized at a 3x play. But like the idea is that, this is just one, right? Like we only had like 2 of our 30 plus investments ideal so far, right? And most of the times, between a private sale and a launch price, it's always a couple of multiples, right? So the idea is that, with all these revenues and potentials coming in, how do we connect that to the price of the token, right? It's not just from a pump and dump perspective, but it's also to create that brand equity around Path, right? Because I think we have a stronger market cap, you show strength, and it's then easier for you to get partners into the game. So that was one of that's why I think there will be several discussions in our Discord. Some of them are quite polarizing, and I think that's the beauty of the DAO.
Yeah. It's
around
good to see. It's good to see that though, how they come together, right? That like in a lot of ways, very different views, but it's the beauty of, you know, it's also amazing, Jensen. I think how when you see like our Discord, like it's very free, right? Like, you know, we're not going in and just because somebody says, "Oh, I'm down this percentage," we're not blocking them and kicking them out of the Discord, right? Like it's a very open community we have. And yeah, sometimes you go in there and you read the comments and you're like, man, like we're building so much and we have so much progress going on. And, you know, just basing us off the token price, like, yeah, it's not always fair. That being said, what's been great is that like it's not just people you know, it's people creating ideas because they generally like want to make like the project better. And I think that's the beauty is that, you know, we're a community first DAO. As you said, like the investment team has done very, very well in a down period, you know, since we launched, like very, very well, and placed us in some great projects. And yeah, to see the community now more getting involved, like in creating these improvement proposals, you know, it's a good thing.
Yeah. So let me touch a bit, right? Like what these proposals are and some of our views on that, right? So the first proposal was to actually link. It was from two of our community members, Octavia and Carlos. Really amazing people. We actually had a couple of discussions behind the scenes with them before they fleshed it out, right? But I think one of the key salient points around this proposal was to create a environment where people would burn path tokens, create a cool NFT, and this NFT would allow in the revenue sharing of 30% of our realized profit. So let's say in a month, let's say if we make $1 million of realized profits, 30% of it, $300,000 would go into a revenue sharing pool. And then this revenue sharing pool, once you've burned your path, you get an NFT. This NFT allows you to share into the profits of the pool. So if there are 10 people holding an NFT, these 10 people will get $30,000, right? Yeah. If there are 100 people, each of them will get $3,000 each, right? So I think that was the idea behind that first proposal. Now the benefits of the first proposal was that number one, you disconnect path. You create a revenue sharing model, but you disconnect path as being a security. Because the problem about, let's say if you share actual USDC with path stakers, right? There is a risk for some exchanges or lawyers to say that okay, that is a security.
Legality.
Yeah, and then you can't go on exchanges. There's a lot of random stuff. There's a lot of I would say obstacles they're going to create in a way, especially with the US, clamping down on some of these like securities terminology in the crypto space, right? So that's one of the benefits, right? Because you create a layer of separation. The NFT now becomes a security, but that's only the NFT, right? The overall ecosystem is protected from the whole security.
Well, you know all about the CEX process and getting listed on there. It's a pretty scrutinizing, you know, process that they go through. And you know, I know obviously getting onto a tier 1 exchange is one of the big goals that you have. So yeah, that's a concern. Legality is always a concern.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's the benefit of it. But the drawback after a couple of discussions, right? So we had a week plus of discussions on this. Two of the key drawbacks is that one, it's an irreversible method, meaning that once I burn this path, I get this NFTs, right? But say a year down the road, and then the treasury is just doing so well that there's just so much attention on it that we don't need a revenue sharing, and we're running out of, and there's so much deal opportunities coming in the next year, and we run out of dry powder, right? Because we keep sharing the revenue out. Then it doesn't make sense, right? Because you think about it, in a growth environment,
we need that
I share
powder.
the revenue, there's X percentage of growth, but if I use that to invest, it's a 10x, right? So
yeah,
you probably should invest rather than share the revenue. You think about like in a stock market, right? Versus do you invest in your assets or do you do a dividend payout, right? It's the same kind of logic thinking there. So what we're thinking, so that was one of the issues, the irreversibility, right? Like once you do this, you have to forever commit into this environment and you can't go back. The second one was that the complexity, right? Because I think some of the comments that some of our key backers were saying was that they like the idea of connecting the fundamentals, but sometimes it gets a bit too complex because you got to burn path, get the NFT, stake the NFT into the revenue sharing pool, right? sometimes it
Jensen,
gets hard to explain.
just to ask a question of legality, I know that there's a lot of question marks over this, but let's say that someone holding Path is not involved in the NFT side of it, which is where the legality questions are. Would that still affect the holders of straight Path? Like, would that affect all of Path, you think, or would the danger just be limited to the NFT holders?
Yeah, so it's likely will only be because then what's happened to Path? Path is just in the sense a utility token, right? Because you can use Path to just govern the DAO. You can use Path for like maybe some of the other stuff you're bringing in, right? Like co-investments or getting airdrop. Those are still considered your utility token. And then you can use Path to mint the NFT. So it's still a utility token. But then the NFT then becomes a revenue sharing
It's a security.
Token. Yeah, so then that one might be labeled security, but then I think the degree of separation should be sufficient, right? But yeah, I think that's the first proposal, right? Using an NFT as an intermediary. There are a lot of cool other things. Like you guys can read in gov.pathdao.io. There's a bit more detail if you guys are interested to be part of this whole governance.
Yeah, a lot more detail, and you should definitely. There's if you're listening to this, you should really go onto the website and check that out.
Yeah, and I think for those who are more from a gamer front and a bit new to the whole DAO process, right? I think this is one of the cool things about the Web3 space, right? It's where everyone has a voice in creating the decisions that we do as a DAO. So feel free to explore the process. It's a good education, a good learning experience as well. It's a side note. But yeah, so that's the first proposal. The second proposal, it's more simplified, and it was proposed by Merit Circle, so one of the biggest gaming DAOs out there, right? And we had a call with them last week, right? And I think their thinking was that to them their MIP7, which was a way of how they, for every realized gains, a percentage of it is used to buy back Path token at a market price. A percentage of it is used to create a limit buy order at 20% below the market prices. So it creates like a floor, a hard floor, like any sell pressure, and then a percentage of it is then funneled back to a treasury. Right? So that was the fundamentals of the proposal, right? And the reason why they were proposing it was that they felt like in Merit Circle, that proposal, it had a lot of debate as well within that community, but fundamentally, I think most of the people agreed, and they've implemented that for about a month now. And I think their view was that it was a right move, right? So I think the perks here is that there's precedence. Right? Yeah, Mexico has already done it, and they are confident that it's helping, right? Their economy and their sustainability. Second thing is that it's very simple in a sense from a user perspective, right? Like you don't have to do anything with your tokens, right?
It's been done before, right?
Yeah. Done before, right? The second thing is that the value accrual to a path holder, it's very simple. You don't have to stake, you don't have to mint the NFT. You just hold path. What happens is that us behind the scenes is that whenever we realize again, we take a portion of it, we create a layer order, we take a portion of it, we buy back the tokens, right? So your token price theoretically would see a upside over time. And you just don't have to do anything, right? So that was their key benefits of the second proposal. Honestly, on our view, right? So if I were to just give a bit of a view of the team, right? So me and my few co-founders, even the wider team, right? Like what we've discussed was that we are a bit more biased towards the Merit Circle's proposal, mainly because of the ease of use of it. It just makes it so much easier for a path holder to get the benefit. Right? For us, that's the main thing, right? Because like that bit, if it gets too complicated, what's going to happen is that you might have people being left out who actually wants to participate, but they just cannot because it just gets overcomplicated. And then what happens is then it loses its ability to maintain the fundamentals versus price tag. Right? Because if people can't really understand how to engage with it, then you might not see it being effective, right? The NFT being helping to beat the fundamentals of the price. That's a key reason why that we are more leaning towards the merit circles proposal
Yeah.
on
And raise doing things like that to raise the token price, it benefits all. Yeah, I mean, like everybody.
But
and then
I mean,
everybody's
we do address the concerns, right? I mean, there's some of our key backers as well that were saying that, you know, some of them feel like we shouldn't be doing anything at all, right? It should just be pure token back. Like it's just a waste of time. Some people are bringing up like really strong points, right? Like, you know, every dollar that we are using is actually important, right? And we need a way of like maybe a year to 18 months worth of dry gunpowder to deploy. But I think just to address that concern, right? Like two parts, right? One, it's that, you know, we've been talking to a lot of tier one VCs. Like, I mean, just to be fully transparent with you folks, right? Like we are really, really connected with a lot of tier one VCs, especially over the past, and that connection has grown over the past 2 months, right? We co-invest with them. We basically brainstorm ideas of like what's the best thesis with these folks, right? And what has happened is that we are getting more and more interest for OTC deals to buy into Path. But honestly, to us, it's not from a DAO perspective, right? Now you're selling at a very, very cheap price, right? Like, you know, you want to do OTC deals when your prices are higher. So what we realize is that one is that there are ways to actually increase the gunpowder because we are actually getting a lot of interest from OTC deals, right? And you know, if there is a improvement in overall price performance, we can get more bang out of the buck, right, for each of the tokens that we release. So that's one. The second thing, it's just overall brand equity, right? I think the idea is that the brand multiple that you can have from having a stronger market cap is just much higher. So I think that's something that I think the community would have to address, right, at some point or another, and realize that addressing it now, it's actually it sets a stronger narrative, right? It sets a stronger, sustainable narrative going forward. And I think that's quite important. Yeah. So that I think that's just to address some of the concerns of people saying like, you know, why now? Why should we do this now, right? Like, why don't we just let the guys want to sell, right? I mean, to be honest, some of these guys were saying, right, like we've bottomed out, right? Because like if you see over the past couple of days, Path has gained like what 30%.
Yeah, 30%.
Right. So I mean, that's why some of these guys are saying, right, like it doesn't matter, right? Like, you don't have to focus on you just let the market dictate, right? Like if it's a bear market, it's a bear market. If it's a bull market, it's a bull market, right? But I think the idea is that in the end, I think it's fair for token holders to actually experience at least even in the short term to medium term value accrual based on the fund performance. So if you make $1 million this month from the DAO performance treasury, the token holders should be able to experience the benefit of that realized gain in this month as well. I think that's something that I think is fair, right? Personally.
Did you ever expect that, Jansen? Like, you know, obviously, like starting a DAO, like, you know, you're starting a project that, you know, has to be malleable, right, and grow. But yeah, is that something that you anticipated? Like, you know, like so far with the PIPs, like obviously bridging to Polygon, that's something the community has been talking about for a long time. What's cool about these two discussions right now is that they're community created, right? And like Octavia and Carlos like took the time and wrote it themselves. It's not something they're just sending us direct messages about. Like these are written by the community. You know, yeah, I guess coming into it, just like, you know, a personal question, like, did you anticipate some of these like PIPs coming up and sort of what's gone on so far?
I think from an anticipation, I think at least from these PIPs, I think we knew that these PIPs were going to come out, right? I mean, it's been discussed in our Discord channels, right? But I think the view has evolved, personally for myself as well, especially, right? Because initially we had quite a strong view around like treasury value, realized gain should just be fully utilized for the next 5x, 10x gains, right? And for us, that was the best way to actually grow the treasury. But when we started having conversations with, you know, more and more people who wanted to back us over OTC deals, we realized that actually there is another way out, right? Like if you can connect your treasury performance to price, your price goes up, when you can then refill yourself with gunpowder for investments with deals. Because initially we did not realize that it's actually quite easy to get OTC backing, right? To refill your gunpowder cash, right? So when we realized that it's actually possible to do that, then we realized that actually it's okay to share revenue out to build out to improve the market cap, and then using that as a way to bring in more gunpowder through OTC deals. So that was the thinking that has evolved over time versus our initial stand of revenue sharing. But yeah, I mean, it's a very nascent stages, right? Like, I mean, Merit Circle tested it. We are going to be the next one to test it. I mean, that's the cool thing about the space. It's a lot of experiments. But I think the idea is we do the decision as a community, right? And as long as we're moving together, and it should. I mean, with the right amount of discussions, I think it's likely to be the right direction in the near future.
So, we had the last PIP just passed, which was PIP 5. I know we've already jumped really quickly into the new discussions. But do you want to Jansen before we let you go? Thank you for talking to us. But do you want to just give us a little update, a rundown, what happens next with that? When can the community expect Polygon to be integrated in?
Yeah, so Polygon's going to come out. I mean, there's a bit of delays on the implementer side. So it's a third party that we can't control. But from the updates from the tech team, we'll be able to potentially push it out by this week, right? So I would say it's still on timeline, because I think when we mentioned from the proposal passing, it was a 2-week timeline, right? So we have a timeline to push that out. But I think so. It's going to come out soon, and the first thing that's going to be available is for community to be able to claim your tokens at a cheaper gas environment.
Nice.
The staking portion, it's not deployed yet, so that one will take some time. We're still trying to figure out what the mechanics are going to be. But what's more important for Polygon is that we are going to add more utility to Path on the Polygon network. So there are a few things that we're going to put in place, right? Like the first thing is the co-investment into some private deals, both on the NFT side and the token side. Because we've actually gotten a couple of deals where it's actually quite lucrative, but then from a DAO perspective, we have already exceeded the exposure value that we wanted to be at. So let's say we like the game, but we only want to have a $200,000 exposure, right? But then there's an opportunity to go higher, right? Maybe the 250 or 300. So the idea is we could share that opportunity with community members who stake, right, Path tokens. So that kind of environment would be enabled through the Polygon network, because it's very cheap, and it's then very easy to build utility around Path tokens there. So that's the two key things, right? One, it's around co-investments into tokens, and the other one is you stake and you get to also purchase NFT drops, especially the private sale ones, because there are a lot of private sale NFT drops that retail don't get, but only we get, right? I think that's something that we also want to be able to share with our community as well.
Yeah, it's Don just got, I don't know, he fell out of the
no, let me bring him back in.
The chat. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool.
Hey, I don't know what happened there. All of a sudden I got kicked out. Floppy, sorry, I was taking too many of the questions.
No worries.
Yeah, well, Jansen, we'll let you go. I didn't know if anyone in the community had any questions, but obviously you've covered a lot of stuff tonight.
Yeah,
we got one more. We're coming up on an hour too, and we got one more guest.
Yeah,
it's actually more exciting, man. The next schedule.
Yeah, no, for sure. Next guest is cool. So with that, Jansen, thank you so much for coming on tonight and talking with us and covering a wide range of subjects.
All right. Cheers, man. Always a pleasure. So guys, as always, feel free to ping me if you guys get any questions around some of the things that we discussed. If you guys want to also brainstorm about some of the cool projects that we're bringing out, again, ping us, right? Just tag me in Discord and let's get on the chat. Right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers, Jansen. Good talking to you.
Okay, let's drop that next trailer. We got our friends from Inferno who are here tonight.
Really exciting stuff happening there, man.
Yeah.
coming.
There we go. I know that these are some of the masks.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, the trailer's cool. We'll get it up in just a second. There's Dante.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you
Dante.
doing?
Good, good. We're trying to get the trailer up, but we might just play it in a second here.
Okay. Yeah, no, take your time, man. It was just cool to hang out and hear you guys vibe out for the night.
Nice,
yeah.
man.
We're
So
just
I think that was
just sort of
just like
we're sort of hanging.
I think that was kind of like all we had there, though, just like running through the masks.
Yeah, I'm gonna send one more over because I saw
cool.
some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I have cool stuff I could,
Yeah, no, we'll ping it and we'll put it up. But tell us, like, why don't you just kick it off, like, Dante, and like tell us more. Like, obviously, like, this is your project, this is your brainchild. Yeah, like, we're just excited to have you here with us. I'm gonna get that trailer up, but just tell us more about yourself and about Inferno.
Absolutely. So, yeah, my name is Dante Venafro, and obviously that is an Italian name after Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy. And this has already been made into a game. Like 12 years ago, EA Games had a Dante's Inferno, and they wrote a sequel to it, but never released it. And then Visceral Games, the studio, kind of winded down. By that time, I'm a partner at a crypto fund called Alpha Sigma, and we backed Splinterlands very early in the pre-sale. We backed Gala Games very early in the token, and also Altered State Machine, which has been crushing it, and their whole ecosystem with Fluff World and AFA Football and Seekers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I ended up connecting with the former chairman of Vivendi Games. And back in the day, he literally bought Blizzard when it was still a small fledgling studio and funded World of Warcraft there when no one was doing PC games. Everything was mobile. And the games were 5 million budget. World of Warcraft was 25 million. So he was just doing unorthodox things kind of against the grain.
Yeah.
Now that same gentleman is a board advisor to Animoca and GuildFi. And so we're in a lot of great relationships with guilds and DAOs and different members of the NFT gaming community, because I think that's where the core fans are going to be for this phase of the game. And basically what we're looking at is phases where very soon we're going to announce the mint date.
Awesome.
I can I don't want to guarantee, but it's like definitely looking like late April. There's content we're going to have paired with that date announcement. And once you put a date out like that and the genie comes out of the bottle, that's a big moment. And then we really want to lean into that, succeed. And then from that moment on, do everything we can to reward the early adopters. And
that makes sense.
The way we think that's going to phase out is you mint the key on layer 1 Ethereum, and we want you to be able to claim Genesis helmet, shoulders, chest plate, legs, and gauntlets from a layer 2 Starkware solution on Ethereum. I could tell you we're talking to all of them, but the one I'm really interested in, and again, not official until it's official, but I have a close relationship with Immutable X, and they just raised $200 million at above $1 billion valuation.
That's what Alluvium's going to use them.
That's right. And I know you guys, was interesting. You guys had a guest on earlier that basically built their own Immutable X competitor.
Yeah.
Which is
it's a big project they have going on, we were doing our research leading into the talk tonight, and it's an interesting, they have a whole studio side, but the ecosystem itself, it's a real ambitious project for sure that they're doing.
Yeah. And it's, you can look at any code in crypto and fork it. And so I think what it comes down to is like network effects and adoption and execution, and just seems like Immutable has a lot of things going on for it. So if you want to really be in like an interoperable ecosystem benefiting from that, that's at least how I felt.
It's like a gold standard, right? Like you know that you're getting like it's like blue chip.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know that they are testing the security, right? It's at a high level, but yeah, so that's really interesting. Another thing I've been learning is that you can't have custom smart contracts like DeFi use cases in the ZK rollups. And so what is looking like will happen instead is if you guys studied Heroes of Mavia, for instance, is a game that recently came out and they're going on Arbitrum.
Okay.
And I also really like Arbitrum for the DeFi use cases that maybe are not possible in the ZK rollup. We're in advanced discussions with different token economics groups, and some of them are even the people behind the software that other economists use to model out Web3 native economies and validate that it would be sustainable. And I'm actually really happy with what I'm seeing compared to last year, where people would kind of just YOLO a token, right? I think the whole blockchain gaming alliance and many groups are sort of consolidating around a couple standards of ways to make sure it's sustainable going forward. So that actually makes me bullish on a lot of the new games using that.
Yeah, a lot smarter tokenomics coming out now for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot better. So in some ways, glad we're didn't come out yet. But the reason I say all those things is because I was basically laying out the milestones, and after the mint, when all those things are in place, then I think we drop the white paper and we drop crafting in the app.
Nice.
And what I've envisioned is in these classic dark fantasy games, even though our arena gameplay is, I guess the closest comparison would be like Dark Souls or Elden Ring on like an easier mode.
Okay.
On the crafting side, I was just thinking about, okay, well, what makes any economy meaningful? Well, time is the ultimate currency. There's nothing more valuable than time. The opportunity cost, right? How many days does it take you to get an item in a game? To me, determines how valuable that item is, right? And then, okay, maybe there's always someone willing to pay money for something that you spent time on, but that's the trade that humans have been making since the beginning of time. You know what I mean? And to prevent different inflationary things I've seen in other games, we really like the idea of Inferno. You think of burning, like burning mechanism. So to upgrade your items, you have to burn the lower rarity version of it. So you think about these classic RPG games, you iron armor, bronze, silver, gold, tungsten, and then because it's Inferno with heaven versus hell, pearl and obsidian at the highest rarity. And if you've been, X amount of days, let's say, and again, nothing's official till it's, in the white paper. And like your other guest said, there's certain security reasons that you don't want to market your NFT launch, like promising certain things. And even if you do the exact same thing and just surprise people after, you're in a better legal spot than you're selling something promising as another thing. It's all about
rolling it out and doing quality stuff, Yeah. You guys I want to try to, can we put up the trailers really quick? Because like you guys got to
show the people. Yeah, show the people.
Yeah, you got to see. Let's try to get these up really quick.
Nice. Yeah, it's up. No sound, but
yeah. So these are some clips. This is in Unreal Engine.
Look at that, man.
And that's what's crazy is like a lot of the assets, a lot of the world is already built out as far as Unreal Engine art and animation. But obviously game development takes time. I actually love it. Like some other games, they will mint when they're already finished their game. And that's cool. We're in a situation where we're going to mint before, but we're going to have a playable build out this year. And in between the mint and the playable build will be that crafting economy. So whatever, you've been earning tokens by staking, skill points by staking. You have enough skill and enough tokens to mint an item. If you want to upgrade it a few days later, maybe you have to burn it, add tokens to get the higher rarity version. And there's no telling what the floors will be. I mean, you obviously can't avoid free market. You have to let people in the market decide what things are worth. Just like the ape token, like they drop it and then the market decides what it's worth. That's in a lot of ways out of their control. But ultimately we can put, the safeguards in on an economy modeling standpoint where there's a range of possible outcomes, it will fall within. And as long as that entire range could be sustainable, whether it's the low end or high end, you're good to go. So these are different things that I'm buttoning up, and why, there was no reason to rush them in, but now I'm feeling very bullish. I feel ready, and that date's coming out soon. So I'm very excited.
You're taking the time to build that like quality project. I mean, right? You can see it in those trailers. What's that awesome sword?
Oh yeah, so that has a little, a little frost enchantment. So the way that and this will get put out also officially, not only the lore, but you think about official game design document, spec sheet. I see this after the mint, but before the Unreal Engine vertical slice is out.
Okay.
And you think about the stats on different armor pieces, right? Strength, intellect, dexterity, vitality, and the zodiacs also all have signs. So for instance, a Gemini is an air sign, a Leo is a fire sign. And why can't those be enchantments that added onto pieces of gear? And I know there's different standards. Like some people say, okay, well, we're going to use the ERC 1155 so that the metadata can update. There's other people who say we're going to use ERC 3664, like Cradles of Species, which was an Animoca game. Another interesting strategy is when the NFTs are on a ZK rollup layer 2, they can only be 721s. And so what ends up happening is those 721s point to somewhere else, and the data is updated on that other place, and that data source feeds into the game. Sometimes that's a centralized part of the design, which I know isn't ideal. There's potentially ways to decentralize that part, but basically what it looks like is these ZK rollup NFTs that are 721s point to a place where the database knows that strength now has an extra 1 or extra, water, extra fire, whatever the stat might be. And that database then feeds into the game. And so that's, and there's APIs that haven't been invented yet. Like there's crazy breakthrough stuff
that's coming
that we get the chance to like be a part of. So obviously we're really excited about that. You never know when being that ambitious might throw a curveball, but so far everybody feels very confident and ahead of schedule on these things. So it looks like we're about to take the genie out of the bottle.
Can you tell us a little bit about the team and like how many folks are on the team?
So I'd say depending on how you count it, it's between 20 and 50. So our blockchain development team, they're called Silicon Swamp. They're out of Florida. I mean, you walk through their office, they have like mining rigs. They're like mining Bitcoin and like the shafts in the roof. I'm like, you guys are crazy. And they built good stuff. Like if you go to app.infernoverse.com, people are claiming helms, equipping it on an inventory page. They're already getting like zero gas NFTs. And just like your other guests, like we made our own chain and people are basically using our own chain. But to give people a sense of familiarity, a project, that raised hundreds of millions, already has major gaming partnerships, right? Instead of having people try to switch to a chain we invented, just know that we're also building things at that high level, but we don't need to necessarily have Inferno go on it phase 1.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it going on ETH native things, ETH native protocols. I like the idea of immutable Arbitrum, like the Ethereum mainnet key for phase 1, but we can get crazy with phase 2. And there's a lot of confidential partnerships and people interested in building like breakthrough tech ground up that would enable potentially like a multi-chain gameverse, which I think could be interesting. But
you gotta go with those gold standards like we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
Like if you're integrating that in from the start, then later on you can always add other stuff in. But having that at the beginning is critical.
I agree, because it's already complicated enough, crypto. Why complicate anything? I think let's keep it really simple.
Yeah.
So anyone with a laptop, like without even looking at what key, can just punch the keyboard and play Inferno. Like, can we get it that easy to get people in? We can add complexity after, right? And another thing that's cool is MoonPay has integrated with a lot of these layer 2 ZK rollups. And so potentially for people that just want to connect their debit card and play, like that should be a major possibility with our L2 partner that we're talking to. So that's really cool. But yeah, back to what you were saying. So the dev shop that does all our blockchain work, that's 20 guys in Florida. The art studio we work with,
Silicon Swamp.
I like that.
Silicon Swamp. Yep. And then the art team is Empty Vessel, and that's Emmanuel Palalik in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And he has great names: Alex Palma, Ian Vasquez, Evgeny is doing a lot of our art. We had Dom Queck, who is a great, top-selling super rare video game artist, accept an honorary Inferno key. We had Emerson Tung, the lead concept artist at id, accept an honorary Inferno key. We also had a major esports team, Xset, accept an honorary Inferno key. And then on the fun side, I'm actually working on some interesting esports related investments that I think could help drive adoption to blockchain games that are really at like a level that traditional gamers could potentially be interested in. And once it gets to a butter smooth stage, the communication isn't so hostile between the traditional gaming community and NFTs. There's relationships I can tap into to, I think, get Inferno gameplay into the mainstream, which I'm excited about. On the game dev side, Darktree has a full team led by Evgeny. And then on the executive side, basically Clarity Games is a joint venture between Alpha Sigma, which is a crypto fund, over 20 people and staff, and the LPs are some great guys like Theta TV just retweeted our other interview because one of our LPs is head of strategy at Theta, and we got guys at BitGo. We have just like incredible people helping out there. And then the other part of the joint venture is Coin Operator Group, which is led by Ken Cron, the board advisor to Animoca and GuildFi, and this former Vivendi chairman. And then his holdings are also, tied in with a lot of other confidential and well-known crypto investors. So it's like a really good group, I think, to be aligned with. And they've definitely been helping contribute resources, relationships, guidance. So on the
having that team is key behind you. I think it's cool that all those guys accepted the keys.
You were
talking about him a little bit, right? Like that's where like there's like 7 parts to the Inferno keys, right? When you open them or when you unlock them,
there basically is 12 potential zodiacs that it could be. For each month of the year, there's a different zodiac, right, that has usually animals, but sometimes other things associated with them. and then also an element associated with it. And it just felt really balanced. Like you look at Pokemon, Bulbasaur was earth, Squirtle was water, Charmander was fire. Like, why was that game so addicting? Why even Axes? I look at Axes and they have elements. And I'm like, okay, well, there's something balanced about the 4 elements. I used to watch Avatar, The Last Airbender. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show or if you're into anime or into like Azuki and stuff like that, but you know, I just think things like that lend themselves to game dev, and it also tied into the lore because Paradiso, you go up the moon, you know, Mars, Mercury, like the planets, and every planet it is also tied to a zodiac sign. And you know, you think about Leo with the lion, Sagittarius the hunter, and all the different ways it could lend itself very easily to be put into a video game context. I thought was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what you're using, and then you're gonna claim armor specific to the zodiac of the key you have.
Okay.
Right, and it's sort of like, I don't want to call them classes. There should definitely be like unique abilities and unique skins that those people get. But you know, I don't know if you guys ever played World of Warcraft or even Elden Ring. You could have certain builds. Like some people have an arcane build, or other people in Elden Ring, they have a bloodlust build, right? Or World of Warcraft, you can pick a warlock or you could pick a warrior. Like, I like the idea of giving people the optionality. Like, do you want to play as a Taurus? Do you want to play
that's sick.
more as a cap, right? Like, it just seems like something I would want to play. A lot of the people on the team are just gaming devs, game lovers, and are building something we would love. With a philosophy that
I kind of getting like a little bit of Skyrim vibes from the trailer. Anything there?
I like Skyrim, man. I was definitely influenced by Skyrim, Fable, World of Warcraft, Diablo was influenced me a lot on this. I'd say like as far as the 3D art style and trying to get it at, you know, a high quality, and the fact that it has that dark fantasy world, all fair comparisons. For sure. But you think about Dark Soul like gameplay where it's about timing your dodges, right? And attacking at the right time. And it's a lot about skill. You know, we're really trying to lean into something that is skill based instead of pay to win, fun to play.
Yeah.
Fun being the first domino that everything else leads to or is derived from. And then also building it with esports in mind. Like I kind of like that whole Mortal Kombat finish them, you know, ending where like or Call of Duty.
We both definitely grew up playing Mortal Kombat.
Ripping out somebody's spine.
Yeah, right. Like
I do again.
Cool finishing moves. Call of Duty. When the fact that Call of Duty put the sniper quickscope feature in there, made it 10 times more viral. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
You have to build game dev with those moments in mind. And I definitely iterate that. I'm like, this needs to be not only fun to play, but could it be fun to watch someone else play? Like, can we know that, you know, 100 billion hours of Minecraft are watched, not even played?
Yeah, well, I mean, think about back when we were playing Mortal Kombat, man. You had to sit there and like watch your friends play for a while. And it was like, you know, if it was fun, then there's going to be a bunch of you guys hanging out. You're going to keep playing. You know, if it wasn't fun and people just took off, then, you know, the crowd wouldn't have stayed around.
Yeah. No, so I like things like that. I've been inspired by things like that. That's definitely what we're striving for. And, you know, game dev takes time, right? Good games take time. Blockchain breakthrough integrations on top of that, I'm sure take time. But ultimately, the way we manage that as a team is just trying to under-promise and over-deliver. So instead of saying, here's a book, it's going to be a giant open world like Elden Ring. No, we're talking about an arena vertical slice, right? With the main core loops of the game that we can rebalance and hone in and polish with our community and with our community's feedback, and really get them in the game development process with us before that typical alpha beta that studios will do where they let fans play. We're going to let people come in at an earlier stage and really try to use the beauty of Web3 and do everything possible to kind of flip the model on its head whenever possible, and try to align the incentives between the team and the community.
Yeah. On that note, can you give us some like events or dates like upcoming on your roadmap? Anything to note for our community?
Yeah, no, I'd say the big date is going to be in late April, and that date is going to come out very, very soon in an exciting way, attached to some new content. So I would say look out for that one. That's the big.
Okay, nice.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, and then obviously got to hook up PathDAO with spots.
Yeah, we were talking about. I hear you talking about that E team. I'm like, we got that E team too.
If you guys
we got that E team, we got that E team ready.
I'm happy to give you guys some more spots. You want to run some more this upcoming week?
Yeah, that's for sure. We should definitely run it in our social media, in our Discord, and on Twitter. And Inferno is a project like Dante. It's super cool connecting with you and having you like join us tonight. Like we really need to have you back for like a much longer, like in-depth AMA. Because just even on like the Inferno keys, like that's something like, especially our gamers, like they're really gonna want to learn about all that stuff and hear it from you, like yourself.
Yeah,
so
I'm happy to come back. Maybe we come back in April.
After your big news.
Yeah, I'm happy to come back. Maybe I can even bring Evgeny and Emmanuel and other people on the team with me. So like, you can get different perspectives, right? I'm like the bird's eye view, but you want to dive deep in certain areas. Maybe I can even get Kyle from Silicon Swamp on here.
Yeah, well, we got some of our community managers and stuff, join us here on like a weekly basis. So we'll do a fun little happy hour with an even bigger group.
Nice. Yeah. So let me know. I can rant even more, but I don't know how much time I have.
Well, what we'll do is like we're definitely, you share with us any stuff you want more, but specifically like after like we post the video, everyone, like we're gonna link obviously like Inferno's like socials and all that stuff like below, like in the about description, and definitely like join their Discord, join their social, like the Twitter. I know like Dante said they're gonna start like releasing like a lot more content, so it's definitely something you want to follow up on. And I guess you've told us a bunch, but it's like, any sort of, I know Floppy always loves asking this before we finish up, but it's like any sort of like alpha you can share with the Path community. I know that April news is the alpha in a lot of ways, but
you guys have actually gotten like a lot out of me. You got the layer 2s that I feel the most strongly about. You have late April as like a range, right?
And everything you're saying just sounds super solid, right?
No,
I like how you're not cutting any corners, man. Like you're making a quality. Like before tonight, I had seen like game trailer, I had seen website, I had jumped into the Discord, but like after talking with you tonight, it's you get a lot better idea of the project.
No, and it's like why I remember people were saying when mint. And
take your time.
Maybe other projects like, okay, they just rushed with a mint out there because people wanted it, but we're already good to go. So why not get a month further along, like without, like, I don't even necessarily need to sell any keys. You know what I mean? It's like we're just building. But I do think to unlock the next level of where I want to take Inferno, the genie has to come out of the bottle.
Yeah.
This content has to come out. This date has to come out. I'm really excited for it. And as a patient person, when a patient person feels like they're ready, that means a lot. You know what I mean?
It's good.
For sure.
That sounds good.
Well, we're here at PathDAO. We're here to support you. So appreciate the love and appreciate you coming in and joining us tonight.
Yeah, and you guys been doing a great job just staying involved with different communities, and I like to see, just positive forces in the space, like finding the needles in the haystack. So I think
That's what it's all. That's what it's all about, Like we're all into gaming, very different projects, a lot of us. But it's what's so cool is like the games are bringing like people from all these different like cultures and communities and backgrounds, together. And the diversity that we have within the Path like community is amazing, and it's something that we're only like really putting effort into like growing and spreading. I noticed it first, like Dante, like we have like a food sharing channel, right? So like within the Path Discord, like there's this channel, it's like food sharing, and people are like posting up photos of like what they eat for lunch every day. Right. And so like, yeah, like you hear people talking the general and at all different times of the day, or you see all the different voice channels, but like you don't really get a visual picture to how global our community is until you go and like check out the food sharing. And
I was gonna say, I remember the similar thing happened with Inferno, where all of a sudden I'm getting DMs. Dante, we need to make an Indonesia channel. Dante, we need to make a Portuguese channel. We need to make a Italian. We got picked up by like NFT Italy. I said, "There's an NFT Italy." Someone said, "Yeah, they love the Divine Comedy story because it's an Italian story." All of a sudden, I'm talking to like, there's big fashion brands out of Italy that love this story, man. There's like Italians that love this story.
Run with it.
Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, I mean, crypto's global, so let's cook everything. Let's eat everything.
Exactly. And it's cool just like building these projects and like you're saying, just your advisory, group that's backing you. I mean, that's a global group right there. And I know like for sure, like we're excited about your project, and we got people, it's interesting, like we never know when to do the happy hours of the AMAs because it's always like a different time in the world, like for somebody. But obviously, we're recording this tonight, also, Dante, and so we'll put this up on the YouTube channel for everyone to watch.
All right, yeah, no, I'm excited to have been a guest, and again, like your other guest said, with whatever legal things, nothing is official until we publish it. But I think these give really good indicators and teasers of where we're headed. And
we learned a lot tonight.
People can read between the lines and know, but I think I'm not allowed to like say it until
No, you shared a lot, man. Yeah, you got everybody excited for sure.
There's a moment where I'll put the stamp on it and say like, okay, this can be.
We needed you on video to do like wink twice if it's after April 15th. Wink once if it's no. But thanks for sharing so much, and we'll keep a close eye. And as stuff comes out, just so everyone in our community knows, we'll be sharing stuff with you. And we'll also follow up with Dante about working on some esports stuff together.
Yeah, that could be cool. No, definitely appreciate the time, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Cool. Yeah, cheers, Dante. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll have another happy hour next week. Keep you posted on more AMAs, and thank you everyone for listening in and giving us your support.